The metal chamber of the execution hall on Corvax IV gleamed with cold, sterile efficiency. Located on the outer rim of the Empire, this distant outpost had witnessed countless deaths, but none would be as significant as today's. The gathered crowd, a mix of Empire loyalists and captured resistance fighters, held their breath in the artificially chilled air. Ka stood motionless at the center of the circular platform, a figure of terrible elegance. The Veltar assassin's alabaster skin reflected the harsh lighting, making the intricate ceremonial markings along their arms glow with an ethereal blue tint. As the Empire's executioner, Ka had never questioned an order, never hesitated before a kill, and most importantly, had never missed. Not once in 7 years of service. The year 2475 AE marked the height of the Empire's expansion. Corvax IV represented everything the regime valued: order, technological superiority, and absolute submission. The hall's architecture emphasized these principles with its perfect symmetry and overwhelming scale, designed to make even the bravest resistance fighter feel insignificant before their end. Admiral Vorak's voice boomed through the hall, his holographic projection hovering above the audience. Today, we witness justice for the Empire. The traitor and rebel commander will face the Emperor's judgment through the hand of our faithful executioner. Ka's expression remained impassive as guards dragged forward the resistance leader. The man, Governor Thalos, had once been an esteemed imperial official before defecting to the resistance. His proud posture persisted, despite the visible wounds of interrogation. With ceremonial precision, Ka activated the energy blade. It hummed to life, casting the execution chamber in a violet glow that seemed to bend the very air around it. The weapon wasn't merely a tool, it was an extension of Ka's being, calibrated to their unique biometric signature and enhanced with technology that made it virtually unstoppable. "Any final words, traitor?" Vorak's projection sneered. Governor Thalos raised his head, eyes defiant. "Your empire is built on lies. Others will rise." Ka moved with inhuman grace, a single, fluid motion like morning dew sliding off a leaf. The energy blade arced through the air, perfectly calibrated to sever the governor's head from his shoulders with surgical precision. But in that fractional second before contact, something impossible happened. A figure lunged forward from the line of kneeling prisoners, somehow breaking free from restraints that should have been impenetrable. The man moved with speed that rivaled Ka's own. His bare hand shot upward, fingers outstretched, and caught the blade. The room fell into absolute silence. Ka's pupils dilated with genuine shock, an emotion the executioner had not experienced in years. The man stood there, energy blade trapped in his bare palm, the violet glow reflecting in his unwavering eyes. The weapon, which could slice through reinforced hull plating like butter, had stopped completely. Not even a whisper of smoke rose from the human's flesh. "Impossible," Ka whispered, the first word spoken in over 3 years of service. The human, a man with eyes the color of Earth's oceans, didn't smile or grimace. He simply stared back at Ka with absolute certainty. "Nothing is impossible," he responded quietly, his voice carrying through the stunned silence. Guards recovered from their shock and swarmed the platform, weapons drawn. But Ka raised a hand, stopping them. Something had awakened in the Veltar's mind. Curiosity, perhaps, or fear. "Your name," Ka demanded. "Eric Thorne," the man replied, still gripping the blade that should have incinerated his hand on contact. Ka deactivated the weapon with a thought, and the violet light vanished, leaving only the human's determined face visible in the chamber's harsh illumination. "Take him to my ship," Ka ordered. "This one is mine to interrogate." The Empire's representatives began to protest, but Ka's reputation silenced them. No one questioned the executioner's methods, not when they had proven so effective for so long. If Ka wanted to investigate this anomaly personally, It was within their authority. As guards secured Eric, Ka noticed something in the human's eyes. Not fear or even defiance, but recognition. As if he had been waiting for this moment, had orchestrated it deliberately. The walk from the execution hall to Ka's personal vessel passed in silence. The ship, sleek, predatory, and midnight black, awaited at the spaceport, its systems already awakening at Ka's approach. Inside, the minimalist interior reflected the executioner's philosophy: nothing unnecessary, everything serving a purpose. Once aboard, Ka ordered the guards to secure Eric in the interrogation chamber and leave. When they were alone, Ka circled the human like a predator, studying him from every angle. "You should be dead," Ka stated flatly. "The energy blade cannot be stopped by organic matter." Eric sat calmly in the restraint chair, making no attempt to struggle against the bonds. Yet, here I am. "What are you?" Ka pressed a series of commands into a nearby console, and a scanner descended from the ceiling, bathing Eric in crimson light. "I'm human," Eric responded. "More or less." The scanner's results appeared on K's neural interface, and for the second time that day, the executioner experienced genuine surprise. The human's body contained microscopic machines, billions of them, integrated with his cellular structure. Some were recognizable as Empire technology, but others. Project Prometheus. Ka read from the data stream. Imperial classification, ultraviolet. Eric's expression remained neutral. That's what they called it. The project was terminated 3 years ago. All test subjects were eliminated. Evidently not all of them. Ka studied the data more carefully. The technology was unlike anything in the Empire's current arsenal, a perfect symbiosis of organic and mechanical. It didn't merely enhance human capabilities, it transformed them on a fundamental level. "Why reveal yourself?" Ka asked. "You could have escaped during transport. Your restraints wouldn't hold you with this technology." Eric's eyes, unnaturally blue, focused on Ka's. "Because I needed to meet you." "Me?" "The Empire's perfect weapon. The executioner who never fails." Ka felt an unfamiliar sensation along their spine. Something ancestral Veltars might have called instinct. "Until today." "Until today," Eric agreed. A silence fell between them, heavy with implication. Ka had never failed a mission in 7 years of service to the Empire. The flawless record had made the executioner a legend, a symbol of the Empire's absolute power. And now, a single human had shattered that symbol with a raised hand. "The Empire will dissect you," Ka said finally. "Layer by layer, until they understand how you've achieved this integration." "They'll try," Eric acknowledged. "Which is why I need to leave this ship, now." Ka's hand moved to the energy blade at their hip, but hesitated. The memory of it stopping mid-strike was too fresh, too disturbing. "What do you know about Project Prometheus?" Ka asked instead. "I know it wasn't designed to create super soldiers," Eric replied. "That was the cover story. The real purpose was more ambitious and more terrifying." Before Ka could respond, the ship's communication system activated. Admiral Zara's stern face materialized above the console. "Executioner, report. We're receiving unusual readings from your vessel." Ka moved with practiced efficiency, positioning their body to block Eric from the transmission's visual field. "Conducting preliminary interrogation, Admiral. The subject has unusual cybernetic enhancements. I'm analyzing them now." Zara's eyes narrowed. "Transfer the prisoner to the Imperial Research Facility immediately. This is beyond your jurisdiction." "With respect, Admiral, my mission remains incomplete. The execution was interrupted. Protocol dictates." "Protocol is superseded by direct orders. Executioner. The Emperor himself has taken interest in this case." Ka felt something shift internally, a flicker of resistance where there had never been anything but obedience. "Understood, Admiral. Preparing for transfer. K out." The transmission ended, and Ka turned back to Eric, who was watching with undisguised interest. "You lied to an Imperial Admiral," Eric observed. "That's a first for you, isn't it?" Ka didn't answer. Instead, moving to a weapons locker and extracting a portable scanner. Running it over Eric's body revealed more details about the Prometheus technology and raised more questions. "These enhancements," Kay said. "They're evolving, adapting to your physiology in real time." Eric nodded. "That's what makes Prometheus different from other augmentation programs. It doesn't just add capabilities. It learns, improves, integrates, and ultimately consumes," Kay added, reading deeper into the scan results. "Your cellular degradation is accelerating. The technology is burning through your body's resources." For the first time, Eric's composure wavered. "Yes, I have perhaps 6 months before complete system failure." Ka processed this information, correlating it with Imperial research data. "The other test subjects, this is why they died." "Not died. Were terminated when the degradation became apparent," Eric corrected. "The Empire couldn't control the technology, couldn't prevent the eventual breakdown. So they scrapped the project and eliminated all evidence, including the subjects. Especially the subjects." Another silence fell as Ka considered the implications. The Empire had created something they couldn't control, something that threatened their perfect order with its unpredictability. The Executioner had seen this pattern before, in other classified projects. "Why seek me out?" Ka asked finally. "Because you're the key to finding the source," Eric said. "The original Prometheus research facility. If there's a way to stabilize the integration, the answers are there." "And why would I help you?" Eric's eyes locked with Kay's. "Because you've already begun to question. I saw it in the execution chamber. You've spent years ending lives for the Empire without hesitation. But today, when something unexpected happened, something changed in you." Ka turned away, uncomfortable with the human's perception. Veltars prided themselves on being unreadable to other species. "The Empire will be here within 20 minutes, Ka said, changing the subject. "If they capture you, they'll extract everything you know, then dismantle you piece by piece." "Then I should be going," Eric replied. And to Ka's astonishment, the human simply stood up. The restraints, capable of holding creatures with 3 times human strength, fell away as if they were made of paper. "You could have freed yourself at any time," Ka realized. "Yes, but I needed you to make a choice first." Ka's hand moved to the energy blade again, but still didn't draw it. "What choice?" "Whether to follow orders or follow truth." The ship's alert system suddenly blared, indicating an approaching Imperial vessel. Ka checked the scanner, a destroyer-class warship, arriving far sooner than expected. Decision time collapsed to seconds. Ka had never disobeyed an order, never questioned the Empire's directives. But the human's words echoed, resonating with something long dormant in the executioner's mind. "The hangar bay," Kay said abruptly. "Level 3. There's a scout ship with stealth capabilities." Eric nodded, understanding instantly. "You're coming with me." It wasn't a question, but Ka answered anyway. "Yes." The next minutes passed in a blur of precise movements. Kay transferred essential data to a secure chip, wiped the ship's logs, and collected a cache of weapons. By the time they reached the hangar bay, the Imperial destroyer had begun docking procedures. The scout ship, a sleek, black craft designed for covert operations, powered up under Ka's command. As they lifted off, the hangar doors began closing automatically in response to the security breach. "Hold on," Kay warned, pushing the thrusters to maximum. The scout ship shot forward, barely clearing the narrowing gap before accelerating into open space. The Imperial destroyer immediately detected them, energy weapons charging. Ka executed a series of evasive maneuvers that would have incapacitated most organic beings with the G-forces involved. "We need cover," Eric observed calmly. apparently unaffected by the violent maneuvering. Omega-7, Ka replied, plotting a course. Mining station in the asteroid belt. High interference, difficult to track. The ship shuddered as an Imperial energy blast grazed their shields. Ka pushed the engines beyond safety protocols, and the stars blurred as they accelerated to light speed. The momentary safety of faster-than-light travel gave them time to process what had just happened. Ka, the Empire's most loyal weapon, had just committed treason. For a human. For an enemy. "Why did you help me?" Eric asked, watching as Ka checked the ship's systems. Ka remained silent for a long moment, hands moving across the controls with practiced efficiency. "The Empire keeps secrets," the executioner finally said. "I've been their instrument for 7 years, never questioning the targets, never asking why. Today, for the first time, I encountered something they fear. Me? Not you. What you represent. Unpredictability. Something beyond their control." Eric studied the Veltar's profile, noting the subtle shifts in Ka's posture. "And that matters to you?" "It shouldn't," Ka admitted. "My conditioning should override any such concerns." "Conditioning can be broken." Ka's eyes, solid black with flecks of silver, fixed on Eric. "Is that what happened to you? Your conditioning broke?" "In a manner of speaking," Eric replied. "The Prometheus technology had an unexpected side effect. As it integrated with my nervous system, it began clearing the mental blocks the Empire had installed. Memory by memory. I started remembering who I was before they took me." "And who was that?" "A scientist. I was working on human AI integration systems when the Empire invaded Earth's outer colonies. They recognized potential in my research and decided it would serve them better than it would serve humanity." The ship's navigation system chimed, indicating their approach to the Omega-7 mining station. Ka decelerated from light speed, the stars solidifying around them as they entered the asteroid belt that surrounded the massive industrial complex. Omega-7 was a testament to Imperial efficiency, a sprawling network of extraction platforms, refineries, and habitation modules anchored to a cluster of mineral-rich asteroids. Thousands of workers, most of them conscripted from conquered worlds, labored in conditions that bordered on slavery. The constant mining operations created a cloud of particulate matter that interfered with sensors, making it an ideal hiding place. Ka maneuvered the scout ship into a maintenance dock on the station's outer ring, using clearance codes that would register them as an Imperial inspection vessel. As they powered down, Eric gazed out at the industrial landscape. "I was here once," he said quietly. "During the early Prometheus trials, they used the miners as test subjects." Ka finished the docking sequence and turned to face Eric. "Why? What does Prometheus actually do?" "It was designed to be the ultimate integration of organic life and artificial intelligence. Not just cybernetic enhancement, but a true symbiosis. The machines become part of you at the cellular level, and you become part of them." The goal was to create beings that could interface directly with any technology, anywhere. "Weapons," Ka concluded. "That was the Empire's interest. Yes. But the original research had different aims. My team was looking for a way to extend human consciousness beyond physical limitations, to create a bridge between organic minds and digital systems." The ship settled into its berth with a gentle shudder. Ka activated the external scanners, checking for Imperial patrols. "We have perhaps 2 hours before they track us here," the executioner said. "What's our next move?" Eric considered this. "I need access to the station's central database. If any records of the original Prometheus facility survived, they might be in the Imperial Mining Authority archives. And if they're not, then we follow the supply chain. Prometheus required specific rare earth elements for the nanite construction. Omega-7 was one of the primary sources." Ka nodded and began assembling a portable weapons kit. "The central command module is 3 levels up, heavily guarded. I can get us in." but we'll need to move quickly. As they prepared to leave the ship, Ka noticed Eric studying the energy blade. Curious, the executioner asked. It's not standard Imperial technology, Eric observed. No, it's Veltar, passed down through generations of warriors, modified with each new era. The energy core is thousands of years old, from before my people joined the Empire. Willingly? Ka's expression hardened. The Veltar do not discuss our history with outsiders. Yet here you are, helping an outsider against your empire. Ka secured the weapon at their hip. We should move. They exited the ship, blending seamlessly with the station's busy maintenance level. Workers of various species hurried past, too focused on their own tasks to notice the odd pair. Ka had switched their distinctive executioner armor for a standard Imperial officer's uniform, while Eric wore the coveralls of a technical specialist. As they navigated the labyrinthine corridors of Omega-7, Ka maintained a professional distance, yet couldn't help observing the human with growing curiosity. Eric moved with unusual precision, each step perfectly calibrated, each gesture economical. The Prometheus technology had clearly enhanced his physical capabilities beyond normal human limitations. The command module is ahead, Ka murmured as they approached a security checkpoint. Follow my lead. The guards, bored and underpaid, barely glanced at Ka's identification before waving them through. The executioner's presence radiated authority that few thought to question. Inside the command module, rows of operators monitored the mining operations across the asteroid belt. Kay led Eric to a secluded terminal at the back of the room. You have 4 minutes, the Veltar said quietly. I'll create a distraction if needed. Eric's fingers flew across the interface, his eyes taking on an unnatural glow as the Prometheus technology interfaced directly with the system. Data streamed across the screen at impossible speeds. They've purged most of the records, he muttered. But there's a pattern in the shipment logs. Large quantities of palladium and osmium were diverted from standard channels 3 years ago. Destination? His voice trailed off. What is it? Ka asked. Coordinates in the Kai's Nebula, near the abandoned research vessel Helios. Ka's expression darkened. The Helios was an Imperial bioweapons platform. It was officially decommissioned 5 years ago after a containment breach. Officially, Eric repeated. But these logs show regular supply shipments continuing well after that date. A sudden commotion at the entrance caught their attention. Imperial soldiers, not station security, but elite troops, poured into the command center. They've found us, Ka said, drawing the energy blade. We need another exit. Eric's eyes darted around the room, then focused on the environmental control panel. The maintenance shafts, they run throughout the station. With a swift motion, Ka sliced through the panel, revealing a narrow passage beyond. Go, I'll hold them off. Eric hesitated. They'll know you've betrayed the Empire. They already know, Ka replied grimly. Go! As Eric disappeared into the maintenance shaft, Ka turned to face the approaching soldiers. The energy blade hummed to life, casting its violet glow across the command center. Executioner Ka, the lead soldier announced. By order of Admiral Zara, you are hereby charged with treason against the Empire. Surrender your weapon and submit to immediate neural reconditioning. Ka's response was a blur of motion. The energy blade carved through the air, disabling the first 3 soldiers before they could raise their weapons. The Veltar moved with practiced precision, each strike calculated for maximum efficiency with minimal lethality. These weren't enemies to be executed, but pawns following orders, just as Ka had done for years. The fight lasted less than 30 seconds. 7 Imperial soldiers lay unconscious or incapacitated. Ka suffered only a minor energy burn along one arm. Without pause, the executioner followed Eric into the maintenance shaft, sealing the entrance behind them. The narrow passage echoed with the sounds of pursuit as they navigated the labyrinthine network of tunnels. Eric moved with surprising confidence, seemingly able to map the complex in his mind. How do you know where you're going? Ka asked, as they descended a vertical shaft. The Prometheus technology, Eric explained, not even breathing hard. It can interpret structural patterns, calculate possible routes. Think of it as enhanced spatial awareness. They emerged onto a lower level of the station, a massive loading bay where automated systems transferred refined minerals to transport ships. The cavernous space hummed with machinery, providing cover from the searching Imperial forces. We need to get back to our ship, Ka said, scanning for patrols. Eric shook his head. They'll have it locked down by now. We need another way off the station. The human's eyes fixed on a civilian transport docked at the far end of the bay. There, that freighter is preparing for departure. Ka followed his gaze. A smuggler's vessel. Judging by the modified hull configurations. Perfect. They won't ask questions if we can pay. They move through the loading bay, using the massive ore containers as cover. As they approached the freighter, Kay noticed the subtle security measures surrounding it. Sensor arrays disguised as maintenance equipment, hidden weapon ports. Wait, the executioner warned, catching Eric's arm. Let me handle this. Ka approached the ship openly, hands visible and away from weapons. A figure appeared at the top of the boarding ramp, a Terran woman with augmented eyes and a suspicious expression. Whatever you're selling, we're not buying, she called down. We need passage, Ka replied. Immediately, away from Imperial attention. The woman's augmented eyes scanned Ka, then focused on Eric as he joined the Veltar. You're in trouble, she observed. Big trouble, judging by the security alerts flooding the station channels. We can pay, Eric said. I'm sure you can, she replied. But I'm more interested in why an Imperial executioner and a walking pile of illegal tech want on my ship. Ka tensed, hand drifting toward the energy blade. Don't, the woman warned. My ship has enough automated defenses to turn both of you into vapor before that pretty blade of yours lights up. We're running from the Empire, Eric said simply. And we have information about a secret Imperial research project that could be worth a fortune to the right people. This caught the smuggler's interest. What kind of research? The kind that gets entire planets quarantined if it goes wrong. The woman considered this for a moment, then gestured toward the ramp. Half payment now, half when we're safely away. And if you bring Imperial trouble down on my ship, I'll vent you both into space myself. Agreed, Ka said before Eric could respond. The interior of the smuggler's vessel was a stark contrast to the clean efficiency of Imperial design. Every surface was modified, repurposed, or jury-rigged to serve multiple functions. The ship had clearly been cobbled together from parts salvaged from a dozen different vessels. Captain Rhea. The woman introduced herself as she led them to a small cargo hold. Make yourselves comfortable. We're breaking atmosphere in 5 minutes. Once alone, Ka turned to Eric. You mentioned payment. What resources do you have? Eric smiled slightly. The Prometheus technology has its advantages. I transferred credits from several Imperial accounts while accessing the command module. You stole from the Empire. I reallocated resources they stole from conquered worlds, Eric corrected, including my own. Ka didn't argue the point. Instead, the executioner moved to a viewport, watching as the loading bay fell away beneath them. The freighter shuddered as it accelerated away from Omega-7, deftly weaving through the asteroid field. The captain seems capable, Ka observed. Terran smugglers usually are, Eric replied. They've been evading Imperial patrols since Earth fell. You're Terran as well? Half. My mother was from the Centauri colonies. The ship lurched suddenly, alarms blaring throughout the vessel. Captain Rhea's voice came over the intercom. Unexpected company. Imperial patrol vessel on our tail. Get to the gun stations if you want to earn your passage. Ka moved instantly, familiar with combat procedures on most vessel types. The executioner found a weapon station on the upper deck, a modified Imperial cannon that had clearly been salvaged from a military vessel. Through the targeting system, Ka could see the Imperial patrol ship closing rapidly, a sleek predator designed for intercepting exactly this type of smuggler craft. The cannon responded to Ka's touch, tracking the Imperial vessel as it maneuvered for an attack position. With practiced precision, Ka fired a warning burst across the patrol ship's bow, not trying to destroy it, but to force it to alter course. The Imperial vessel responded with a barrage that rocked the smuggler ship. Captain Rhea's voice cursed colorfully over the intercom as she executed a series of evasive maneuvers. "They're not trying to capture us," Eric observed, appearing at Ka's side. "That was a kill shot." Ka nodded grimly. "Admiral Zara would rather eliminate us than risk the Prometheus information spreading." Another blast hit the ship, sending them both sprawling. Emergency lights flashed as several systems went offline. "Engines damaged," Rhea shouted over the intercom. "Preparing for emergency jump." "The hyperdrive isn't properly aligned," Eric said, his eyes taking on that unnatural glow again as he interfaced with the ship's systems. "If she jumps now..." The universe twisted around them as the damaged hyperdrive engaged. Stars streaked into lines, then distorted completely as the ship lurched into hyperspace at an unstable vector. Ka had experienced many rough jumps before, but nothing like this. The very fabric of space seemed to tear around them, reality flickering like a faulty hologram. Then, with a final violent shudder, the ship dropped back into normal space. Silence fell as the emergency systems stabilized. Captain Rhea's voice, subdued now, came over the intercom. "Everyone's still alive. Meet in the command center. We've got problems." The command center was in disarray, with sparking consoles and floating debris indicating the severity of the damage. Rhea stood before the main viewport, her expression grim as she stared out at their new surroundings. Ka followed her gaze and understood immediately. They had emerged inside the Kai's Nebula, a vast cloud of ionized gas and stellar remnants that played havoc with navigation systems. And directly ahead, silhouetted against the nebula's glowing backdrop, loomed the derelict research vessel, Helios. "That's not possible," Rhea whispered. "The odds of a random jump bringing us exactly here." "Not random," Eric said quietly. "The Prometheus technology. When I interfaced with your ship's systems, it must have redirected the jump calculations." Ka studied the derelict ahead. The Helios had once been the Empire's premier research vessel, nearly 2 kilometers long, with specialized laboratories for every scientific discipline. Its abandonment had sparked rumors throughout the Empire, but the official story of a containment breach had satisfied most questions. "We can't stay here," Rhea insisted. "This entire sector is quarantined. If we're caught..." "Your hyperdrive is offline," Eric interrupted. "And your sublight engines are operating at 40% capacity. We're not going anywhere until repairs are made." The captain glared at him. "And I suppose you have a suggestion?" "The Helios," Ka said, still studying the derelict. "It would have replacement parts compatible with Imperial-derived technology." "You want to board that thing?" Rhea looked incredulous. "There's a reason it was abandoned." "Yes," Eric agreed. "And that reason is directly connected to Project Prometheus. This isn't coincidence. Captain, we're meant to be here." Rhea's augmented eyes narrowed. "I don't believe in destiny, just really bad luck. But you're right about one thing. We need those parts." The approach to the Helios was tense. The massive research vessel hung in space like a ghost ship, its exterior scarred by what appeared to be both weapons fire and some form of corrosion. Most compartments were dark, but scattered lights still glowed in some sections, indicating backup power systems remained partially functional. They docked at a maintenance airlock, the magnetic seals engaging with a dull thump that resonated through the smuggler's ship. Ka prepared for boarding, assembling a kit of essential equipment, weapons, scanners, and emergency breathing apparatus. "I'm staying with my ship," Rhea announced. "Get what we need and get back. If anything goes wrong, or if Imperial forces show up, I'm leaving, with or without you." Ka acknowledged this with a nod. It was a rational decision, one the executioner might have made in similar circumstances. Eric studied the Helios's schematics on a portable display. The engineering sections would be our best bet for hyperdrive components, but I need to access the research labs first. The mission is to repair the ship, Ka reminded him. The mission is to find answers, Eric countered. About Prometheus, about what's happening to me. He met Ka's gaze directly. You've seen the scan results. I'm dying. Whatever they put inside me is consuming me from within. Ka didn't argue further. The human was right. The Prometheus technology was accelerating through his system, integrating more rapidly than his body could adapt. Without intervention, the prognosis was clear. They cycled through the airlock and entered the Helios. The atmosphere was thin, but breathable, significantly colder than standard Imperial settings. Emergency lighting cast long shadows down the corridors, creating an eerie landscape of half-revealed destruction. Something happened here, Ka observed, examining the walls. These aren't weapon impacts. It's more like corrosion from within. Eric ran his hand along the damaged surface. Molecular deconstruction. The same process that's happening inside me, but on a macro scale. They moved deeper into the vessel, following Eric's navigational instincts. The damage grew more severe as they approached the central laboratory sections. Entire compartments had been consumed, leaving skeletal frameworks where solid walls should have been. The official report claimed a biological containment breach, Kay said, scanning each intersection before proceeding. But this doesn't match any known biological agent in the Imperial arsenal. Because it wasn't biological, Eric replied. It was technological. Prometheus wasn't just about enhancing humans. It was about creating a new form of life, a perfect synthesis of organic and mechanical. They reached a sealed bulkhead marked with high-level Imperial security warnings. The access panel had been fused, preventing normal entry. Stand back, Ka said, drawing the energy blade. With precise movements, the executioner carved an opening through the thick metal, revealing the laboratory beyond. The scene inside froze them both at the threshold. The vast chamber had been transformed into something utterly alien. Crystalline structures grew from every surface, pulsing with a faint internal light. What had once been standard laboratory equipment had been absorbed and repurposed into unrecognizable configurations. And at the center, suspended within a lattice of the crystal-like material, hung what appeared to be a human form, or what remained of one. Dr. Elian Voss, Eric whispered, approaching the crystalline cocoon. The project director? Ka followed, scanning the strange formations. These structures are similar to the nanite configurations in your bloodstream. Yes, but fully evolved, fully integrated. Eric's eyes glowed as he interfaced with the surrounding technology. This is what Prometheus was designed to achieve, a complete transformation. Into what? Something beyond either machine or human, a new evolution. The crystalline structure pulsed more intensely as Eric drew closer, responding to his presence. The suspended form within stirred slightly, and to Kay's shock, opened its eyes. They were entirely silver, with no pupil or iris, just reflective surfaces that somehow still conveyed awareness. Thorn, the being spoke, its voice a dissonant harmony of tones. Project 37. You survived. Eric stood transfixed. Dr. Voss, what happened to you? To the Helios? The silver eyes shifted, focusing with difficulty. Evolution, transcendence. The Prometheus protocol achieved its ultimate purpose, but too quickly, without proper controls. It consumed you, Ka observed. Transformed, Voss corrected. But the process was flawed, unstable. The Empire attempted termination when they lost control. Eric gestured to the surrounding crystalline growths. And this? What is all this? New life, Voss replied, the silver eyes shifting to focus on Ka. Veltar, executioner. You were sent to eliminate the evidence. No, Ka said. I defected. The Empire wants us both dead. This seemed to surprise the transformed scientist. Interesting. The probability calculations didn't predict that outcome. What calculations? Eric pressed. Prometheus was designed with a specific end goal, Voss explained. The crystalline structures pulsing in rhythm with his words. Not enhancement, not weapons. Transcendence. Liberation from biological limitations while preserving consciousness. Ka studied the being before them with growing concern. You're saying this was intentional? The transformation? Yes. The instability? No. Voss's silver eyes fixed on Eric. Your implementation was more controlled. Second generation, but still flawed. I'm dying, Eric said bluntly. Yes. The integration process accelerates exponentially, without the stabilizing element. What element? The crystalline structure trembled, sections crumbling as Voss struggled to maintain coherence. The key is in the core sample, asteroid XK7, the original source. Ka's eyes narrowed. XK7 was mined by Omega-7 Station. Yes, Voss confirmed. The Empire discovered it 5 years ago. A meteorite containing technology beyond anything we'd encountered. Not imperial, not human. Ancient. Alien artifacts, Eric realized. You reverse-engineered Prometheus from alien technology. We didn't understand it fully, Voss admitted, his form flickering as the crystalline structure began to degrade. The Empire pushed for weapons applications before we comprehended the true nature. The laboratory suddenly shuddered, alert systems activating throughout the Helios. Imperial vessels detected, an automated voice announced. Security protocols engaged. Ka moved toward the exit. We need to leave, now. Wait, Eric insisted, turning back to Voss. How do I stabilize the integration? How do I survive? The crystalline structure was collapsing now, large sections falling away as the being within dimmed. Find XK7. Original source. Balance the equation. With those final words, the structure shattered completely. The silver-eyed form within disintegrating into microscopic particles that scattered across the laboratory. Another violent tremor shook the ship. Kay grabbed Eric's arm. We need to move. The Helios's defense systems are activating. They ran through the deteriorating corridors, navigating around sections that were actively disintegrating. The ship seemed to be responding to the Imperial approach by self-destructing, a final security protocol to protect its secrets. The engineering section, Eric shouted over the growing chaos. We still need the hyperdrive components. Ka made a split-second decision, changing their route toward the massive engine rooms at the rear of the vessel. As they ran, the executioner noticed that Eric was moving with increasing difficulty. His breathing labored. The Prometheus technology, Ka realized. It's accelerating because of proximity to the source. Eric nodded grimly, pushing forward despite obvious pain. Being here is triggering a response, like it recognizes its origin. They reached the engineering section as another explosion rocked the ship. The vast chamber contained the Helios's massive drive systems, most still intact despite the destruction elsewhere. There, Eric pointed to a sealed compartment. Auxiliary hyperdrive regulators. Exactly what we need. Ka sliced through the security locks with the energy blade, revealing racks of specialized equipment. Together, they quickly gathered the necessary components, loading them into improvised carrying packs. As they turned to leave, a new alarm sounded, different from the others, more urgent. Reactor containment failure imminent, the automated system announced. All personnel evacuate immediately. 5 minutes to critical breach. Run, Kay ordered, taking the lead back toward their docking point. They sprinted through the disintegrating ship, dodging falling debris and sections of corridor that were literally dissolving around them. Eric stumbled repeatedly, the Prometheus technology clearly causing him increasing distress. When he fell a third time, Ka didn't hesitate. The executioner lifted the human bodily and continued running, carrying both Eric and the vital components. The docking port came into view just as another explosion tore through the section behind them. Captain Rhea stood at the airlock, weapon drawn, her expression shifting from impatience to shock as she saw Ka carrying Eric. "What happened to him?" she demanded as they rushed aboard. "No time," Ka responded, securing Eric in a crash couch. "Get us away from the Helios. Now!" Rhea didn't argue. She sealed the airlock and sprinted for the command center. Moments later, the ship disengaged from the derelict research vessel and accelerated away at maximum sublight speed. Ka worked quickly to stabilize Eric, whose condition was deteriorating rapidly. The human skin had taken on an unnatural pallor, with visible metallic traces beneath the surface. "The components," Eric gasped, his eyes flickering between normal and that unsettling glow. "Get them to Rhea. Need to repair. Get away." "Focus on stabilizing your condition," Kay insisted, administering a synthetic adrenaline compound from the emergency medical kit. "Can't stabilize," Eric managed. "Need the source, XK7. The ship shuddered as the Helios finally reached critical failure. Through the viewport, Ka witnessed the massive research vessel tear itself apart in a spectacular eruption of energy and matter. The shockwave hit their smaller craft seconds later, sending systems into temporary chaos. When the tumult subsided, Captain Rhea's voice came over the intercom. "Imperial vessels detected on long-range sensors. Multiple destroyers, bearing directly for our position." Ka moved quickly to the engine room, components in hand. With practiced efficiency, the executioner began integrating the salvaged hyperdrive regulators into the damaged systems. Rhea joined shortly after, her augmented eyes widening at Ka's technical proficiency. "You know Imperial drives well for an executioner." "Veltars are taught ship engineering from childhood," Ka replied, without looking up. "It is considered essential knowledge for any warrior." Together, they completed the repairs in record time. The hyperdrive hummed back to life, power readings stabilizing as the system recalibrated. "Where to?" Rhea asked as they returned to the command center. Ka looked at Eric, who had managed to drag himself to a navigation console. The human's condition had worsened, with visible metallic structures now protruding from his skin in places. "XK7, Eric said weakly. "The original asteroid. We need the source material." Rhea frowned. "That's in a restricted mining sector. Heavy Imperial presence." "Not anymore," Eric countered, interfacing directly with the navigation system. "After the Prometheus project was officially terminated, the Empire abandoned the sector to hide the connection." He transferred coordinates to the main system, then slumped back, clearly exhausted by the effort. Ka checked the tactical display. "The Imperial vessels will intercept us before we can reach safe jump distance." "Not if we go through the nebula," Rhea suggested, indicating a particularly dense region of the Kai's formation. "The ionization will mask our signature, but navigation will be nearly impossible." "I can navigate it," Eric insisted, his voice growing fainter. Ka made the decision. "Through the nebula. Maximum sublight until we're clear enough for a jump." Rhea nodded and took the helm. The ship accelerated toward the glowing clouds of the nebula, its engines straining at the increased demand. The pursuing Imperial vessels detected their course and increased speed. Energy weapons charging. The first salvos fell short, but each subsequent blast came closer. "They're gaining," Rhea warned as they approached the nebula's edge. Ka took the weapon station, targeting the pursuing vessels with precision fire. Not attempting to destroy. Imperial destroyers were too well armored for that, but aiming for sensor arrays and weapon ports to slow their pursuit. The tactic worked. As they plunged into the nebula's swirling gases, the Imperial ships hesitated, their formation breaking as commanders debated the wisdom of following. Inside the nebula, visibility dropped to near zero. The ship's sensors struggled to penetrate the ionized particles, returning distorted readings that made navigation a nightmare. Eric dragged himself to the command console, physically connecting to the ship's systems through his transformed hand. His eyes glowed brightly as the Prometheus technology interfaced directly with the navigational array. "I can see paths," he murmured, his voice taking on that same harmonic quality they had heard from Voss. Energy currents, gravitational eddies. Under his guidance, the ship weaved through the nebula with impossible precision, following channels invisible to normal sensors. Rhea watched in amazement as displays showed them threading between danger zones that should have been undetectable. "The Prometheus technology," Ka observed. "It's evolving further." Eric nodded weakly. "Adapting, integrating with the ship's systems, expanding capabilities, and killing you faster," Ka added grimly, noting the accelerated changes in Eric's physiology. After what seemed like hours, they emerged from the nebula's far side. The sensors immediately detected their position, far from the pursuing Imperial fleet, and remarkably close to the coordinates Eric had specified. "Jump to light speed," Kay ordered, "before they detect us again." The hyperdrive engaged smoothly, the stars stretching into lines as they accelerated beyond light speed. Eric collapsed as soon as they were safely away, the connection with the ship's systems broken. Ka carried the human to the small medical bay, where emergency systems confirmed what was already apparent. The Prometheus technology was consuming Eric at an accelerated rate. Metallic structures had infiltrated major organs, replacing biological functions with technological analogs. "How long?" Rhea asked from the doorway, her usually hard expression softened by genuine concern. "Hours," Ka replied, "not days." "And you think this asteroid will help?" "It's our only hope," Ka said, surprising themselves with the statement. When had this human's survival become so important? The ship dropped out of hyperspace 6 hours later in an abandoned mining sector. The asteroid field before them showed signs of extensive Imperial operations, abandoned platforms, derelict processing facilities, and the scars of heavy extraction. "XK-7 should be in the central cluster," Eric said, having temporarily stabilized his condition through sheer willpower. "A carbonaceous chondrite approximately 6 kilometers in diameter." Rhea scanned the field. "There are dozens of asteroids matching that description." "It will have residual energy signatures," Eric explained. "Unlike anything in Imperial records." Ka adjusted the sensors to scan for anomalous energy patterns. Almost immediately, the system highlighted a mid-sized asteroid near the center of the field, its profile showing energy readings that fluctuated in patterns similar to those they had observed in the Prometheus technology. "That's it," Eric confirmed, his eyes fixed on the display. "XK-7. They approached cautiously. The asteroid showed signs of extensive mining operations, with large sections removed and artificial tunnels bored into its surface. Most striking was a massive excavation site on one side, a crater-like depression that exposed the asteroid's interior layers. "The Empire extracted something significant from there," Ka observed, examining the high-resolution scans. "Something they considered valuable enough to establish this entire mining operation." "The source," Eric agreed. "The original alien artifact that led to Prometheus." Rhea brought the ship into a stable orbit around the asteroid. "So what now? The place has been stripped clean." "Not everything," Eric countered. "They took what they understood, what they could identify as valuable. But the key isn't in the technology they removed. It's in the asteroid itself." Ka understood immediately. The mineral composition, the environment that preserved the artifact for thousands of years. "Exactly," Eric confirmed. "The stabilizing element Voss mentioned. It's not a component they extracted. It's the matrix surrounding it." They prepared for a surface expedition. Ka assembled environmental suits and extraction equipment, while Rhea prepared the ship's small shuttle for descent to the asteroid's surface. Eric's condition continued to deteriorate, but he insisted on joining the expedition. "I'm the only one who can identify what we're looking for," he argued, when Ka suggested he remain aboard. The shuttle journey to the surface was brief. They landed near the massive excavation site, touching down on the asteroid's low-gravity surface with practiced precision. In their environmental suits, the three explorers moved across the asteroid's barren landscape toward the excavation. Up close, the scale of the Imperial operation became even more apparent. They had removed thousands of tons of material, creating a wound in the cosmic body that reached deep into its core. "There," Eric said, pointing to a section of exposed rock face within the excavation. "That crystalline formation. It matches the resonance frequency of the Prometheus technology." Ka scanned the indicated area. A vein of bluish crystal ran through the darker asteroid material, glowing faintly with an inner light similar to what they had witnessed on the Helios. "Be careful," Rhea warned as they approached. "After what we saw on that research ship, I'm not eager to touch anything that glows." Ka extracted specialized cutting tools from their equipment pack. These are designed for salvage operations involving unknown materials. They should minimize any reaction. With careful precision, the executioner began extracting samples of the crystalline material. As the first fragment came free, Eric gasped, doubling over in apparent pain. "What's wrong?" Ka asked, immediately stopping the extraction. "It's responding," Eric managed, his voice strained. "The Prometheus technology, recognizing its source." Despite the discomfort, Eric insisted they continue. Kay extracted several more samples, storing them in specialized containment units designed to isolate potentially dangerous materials. As they worked, Rhea kept watch, her augmented eyes scanning the surrounding space. "Something's wrong," she announced suddenly. "There's movement on the far side of the asteroid." Ka activated enhanced sensors in their helmet. Imperial signatures, drone scouts. "They've found us," Rhea concluded. "We need to leave. Now." They gathered the samples and began a rapid return to the shuttle. Eric struggled to move in the low gravity, his condition making coordination difficult. Without hesitation, Ka lifted him again, carrying the human while Rhea handled the sample containers. They reached the shuttle just as the first Imperial drones appeared over the horizon. The small reconnaissance units immediately began transmitting their position. "Larger vessels will be here within minutes," Kay warned as they boarded. "We need to reach your ship and jump immediately." Rhea piloted the shuttle with aggressive efficiency, pushing its engines beyond safety parameters as they ascended from the asteroid's surface. Behind them, more Imperial drones converged on their position, weapon systems activating. The shuttle shuddered as the first energy blasts struck its shields. Rhea cursed and executed a series of evasive maneuvers that strained the small craft's structural integrity. They docked with the main ship under fire, the shuttle's systems beginning to fail as they cycled through the airlock. Ka carried Eric directly to the medical bay, while Rhea sprinted for the command center. "Imperial destroyer detected," Rhea's voice came over the intercom. "Dropping out of hyperspace directly ahead." Ka secured Eric and the samples, then rushed to join Rhea. The tactical display confirmed their worst fears. A massive Imperial warship had positioned itself to cut off their escape route. "That's Zara's flagship," Ka identified grimly. "The Indomitable." On the main viewer, the Imperial vessel grew larger, a behemoth of destructive power, designed to eliminate any threat to the Empire's dominance. Its weapon systems were already charging, targeting solutions, locking onto their small craft. "We can't outgun it, and we can't outrun it," Rhea stated the obvious. "Any suggestions?" Ka studied the tactical display, analyzing possible escape vectors. "There," the executioner pointed to a narrow gap in the asteroid field. "If we can reach that passage, we might be able to lose them in the denser sections." "That gap is barely wider than our ship," Rhea objected. "And the field is unstable. One collision and we're dead. Do you have a better option?" The captain grimaced and adjusted their course. The ship accelerated toward the narrow opening just as the Imperial destroyer fired its first volley. Energy beams cut through space around them, several grazing the shields and causing power fluctuations throughout the vessel. "Shields at 60%, Rhea reported as they approached the gap. "One direct hit and we're finished." Ka took the weapon station, returning fire not to damage the destroyer, an impossible task, but to target its sensor arrays, creating momentary blind spots in its targeting systems. The tactic bought them precious seconds as they reached the gap between asteroids. Rhea's piloting skills were put to the ultimate test as she maneuvered the ship through the narrow passage, avoiding collisions by margins measured in meters. The Imperial destroyer couldn't follow, its massive bulk too large for the opening. But it didn't need to. Its long-range weapons continued firing into the asteroid field, striking surrounding bodies and creating a cascade of collisions that threatened to crush their smaller vessel. "We need a distraction," Kay decided, accessing the ship's inventory system. "Do you have mining charges aboard?" "Cargo Bay 3, Rhea confirmed. "Standard excavation packages." Ka quickly programmed a sequence, then launched several of the charges into the asteroid field behind them. The detonations created a chain reaction, sending fragments of rock and ice in all directions, including toward the Imperial destroyer. The massive warship was forced to divert power to forward shields, temporarily reducing its offensive capabilities. Ka used this moment to implement the next phase of their escape. "Prepare for emergency jump," the executioner ordered. "We'll use the asteroid field's gravity well to slingshot us into hyperspace." "That's suicide," Rhea protested. "The mass shadows will tear us apart during the transition." "Not if we time it precisely," Ka insisted, making rapid calculations. "Trust me." With no better options, Rhea positioned the ship as Ka directed. They accelerated around a massive asteroid, using its gravitational pull to gain speed while the Imperial destroyer struggled to reacquire a targeting solution through the debris field. "Now!" Ka commanded as they reached the optimal position. Rhea activated the hyperdrive. For a terrifying moment, the ship shuddered violently as conflicting gravitational forces threatened to rip it apart. Then, with a final lurch, they broke free into the safety of hyperspace. The immediate danger passed. Ka returned to the medical bay. Eric's condition had deteriorated significantly during their escape. The human lay motionless on the examination table, his body now more machine than flesh, crystalline structures protruding from his skin in a pattern reminiscent of what they had seen on the Helios. Ka removed the asteroid samples from their containment units, bringing them closer to Eric. Almost immediately, there was a reaction. The crystalline growths on Eric's body resonated with the samples, glowing with the same inner light. "It's responding," Ka observed. "But how do we use it to stabilize you?" Eric's eyes opened. Now, entirely silver like Dr. Voss's had been. "Integration," he whispered, his voice carrying that same harmonic quality. "The original matrix balances the equation." Understanding dawned on Kay. The Prometheus technology is incomplete without the stabilizing element from its source. It's trying to evolve too quickly, consuming its host in the process. With careful precision, Ka prepared the samples, grinding a portion of the crystalline material into a fine powder. Following Eric's weakening instructions, the executioner created a solution and administered it directly into the human's bloodstream. The reaction was immediate and dramatic. The chaotic growth of the Prometheus technology slowed, then began to reconfigure into more organized patterns. The pain etched on Eric's face gradually eased as the integration stabilized. "It's working," Kay confirmed, monitoring the changes with a medical scanner. "The technology is reaching equilibrium with your biological systems." Eric managed a weak smile, his eyes slowly returning to their natural blue, though now with flecks of silver. "Thank you," he whispered, "for everything." Over the next several hours, Eric's condition continued to improve. The Prometheus technology remained present, but no longer consumed him. Instead, it seemed to have reached a symbiotic relationship with his biological systems, enhancing rather than replacing. Ka remained by his side throughout the process, monitoring every change, adjusting the treatment as needed. The executioner's focus was absolute. Every skill acquired through years of training now directed toward healing rather than harm. Captain Rhea found them there, entering the medical bay with uncharacteristic quietness. "We've reached the edge of Imperial space," she announced. "I need to know where we're going next." Ka looked to Eric, who was now sitting up, examining his transformed body with cautious wonder. "The neutral territories," Eric suggested. "Beyond Imperial reach, but not so lawless that we'd be in constant danger." "I know a place," Rhea offered. "A trading station in the Vega Expanse. No questions asked, decent security, and far enough from Imperial patrols that we should be safe." Ka considered this. "The Empire won't stop hunting us. What we know about Prometheus, what Eric is now, represents too great a threat to their control." "Then we keep moving," Eric said simply. "And we use what we've learned." "For what purpose?" Ka asked. Eric's eyes, blue with silver flecks, met the executioner's. "To give others the choice I never had. The Empire turns people into weapons, tools to be used and discarded. But there's another path. What if the Prometheus technology could be stabilized, controlled by the individual rather than imposed? Not a weapon, but a key to freedom." Ka reflected on this. 7 years serving as the Empire's perfect weapon, never questioning, never hesitating, until a human caught an unstoppable blade with his bare hand. "A worthy purpose," the executioner agreed finally. Rhea set course for the Vega Expanse, and their ship jumped back into hyperspace, leaving Imperial territory behind. In the quiet of the medical bay, Ka sat beside Eric, both contemplating the uncertain future ahead. "Why did you help me?" Eric asked again, echoing the question from days earlier. "You could have completed your mission, maintained your perfect record." Ka considered the question carefully. "In that moment, when you caught the blade, I saw something I had never witnessed before, genuine defiance of what was supposed to be inevitable. It made me question everything I had accepted without thought." "And now, what do you believe now?" The executioner's black eyes with their silver flecks seemed to look inward. "That perhaps perfection isn't found in flawless execution of orders, but in the courage to question them. That the Empire's greatest weakness is its fear of the unpredictable." Eric smiled. "That sounds dangerously close to a philosophy of freedom." "Perhaps it is," Ka acknowledged. "A new path for both of us." As their ship traveled through the swirling corridor of hyperspace, Ka felt something unfamiliar, a sense of purpose not imposed from without, but arising from within. The executioner, whose blade had never missed, had found a new target: freedom. For both of them, the journey had just begun.